Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Season 4, Episode 12 of the phenomenon known to all as Saturday afternoon's main event. Now let me go ahead and tell you something. Tonight is Extreme Rules, and what better way to go ahead and get extreme if the ultimate heel is not on Saturday afternoon's main event. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, if you are dumb, stupid, blind, or currently just irrelevant, and cannot read the bottom of the ticker that shows the name of this person right here, or this most genuine, handsome individual that you know as the host of this fine establishment, then I suggest you go ahead, go to the library, pick up the biggest dictionary you can find, preferably Merriam-Webster, and look me up under the word phenomenal. Ladies and gentlemen, it is I, the phenomenal one, and of course, I am not alone. Why? Because my second horseman is right here with me, and he is the limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling, dealing, son of a gun, who is not having a hard time holding his alligators down. Well, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, now give me 2 claps and a peace nation.
Woo! Here we are. Yes, Deep Voice Dynamo is here. I got the pen. I got a fresh I digress counter right here with clean slate. So we're going to have something to go through right here today. We're going to have fun. We're going to enjoy. Extreme Rules is later on tonight. Yeah, and as you can see by my shirt, I need a distraction. So yeah, I need a distraction. So
ladies and gentlemen, guys, if you know us and you know that we are certainly New Yorkers, then you know that we are fans of the wrong New York baseball team. The mediocre one. The one that causes us heartache every single year.
Yeah.
But you know, for some reason, I think we're narcissists because we stay there and we still root for them because LGM, let's go Mets. I don't know why I said that because now the rest of the fans are going to go ahead and clown on us because we're just that bad, peeps.
Yes.
Why
yes.
us?
It's gonna be one of those days. But you know what? I'm gonna move that to the side. We're gonna get into some really good wrestling, really good stuff here. And of course, we can't do it without you guys, the fans that are watching our show each and every Saturday. So for that, we thank you for putting up with our craziness and then becoming part of our show.
Oh, yes, most definitely. Shout out to the fans for that. But without further ado, let's get right into the show. So once you go ahead and hear this, you most definitely know what that means, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. It is time for Fast Track. Of course, let's go ahead and get right into it. First things first, WWE mixes up the commentary team. Wow. Now, this was pretty crazy. I'm not going to lie to you, peeps. Because for some reason, we really sat there and said to ourselves, okay, is there really any changes needed? Of course, we know that Pat McAfee has to go ahead and do college football Saturdays. So it wouldn't be easy and it wouldn't sit right with his schedule. But truth be told, I'm kind of liking this commentary team. And we think about it. Listen, for SmackDown, we now have Michael Cole and Wade Barrett as the main commentators, with Barrett moving from NXT. Samantha Irving, ring announcer, alongside Kayla Braxton and Megan Morant as backstage interviewers. On the Monday Night Raw section itself, Kevin Patrick and Corey Graves will be commentary, with Mike Rom, ring announcer, and of course, Kathy Kelly is back, and she's right with Byron Saxton, going ahead and doing on-screen interviews. And you know, that leaves one thing and one thing only. How about NXT, ladies and gentlemen? Well, of course, Vic Joseph is still going to go ahead and be there, but we have an addition. Ladies and gentlemen, Booker T is now on the commentary team for NXT. Yes, peeps, what you're doing, the five-time WCW champion is now the commentator for NXT.
And no, I'm not going to do a spinneroonie. I am not going to put my back out for that.
I think, listen, my back already hurts enough for carrying the rest of these Mets fans for the whole rest of the duration of the night last night. So I guess I don't feel good going ahead and having to do spinneroonie. I'm all right.
Yeah.
I'm all right.
Yeah.
But with this new era, I guess until college football season is over, which will be around January, we won't have to see, Patrick McAfee, but we'll see how that goes ahead and tunes in from then. But with now, I'm really liking this commentary team. Let's see what it looks like going forward. I know there ain't gonna be any releases. It's not, but you know, here's one thing I have to say. It wouldn't be bad having Mauro Ronaldo back.
Oh yeah.
Mamma mia! Oh man.
Oh, good grief. Yes.
Old
yes.
good SmackDown Live days. Whatever happened to the good old times.
I tell you one thing though. The one thing that is being missed is the fact that Jimmy Smith is now no longer in WWE. And he actually went onto his Twitter page and explained he thanked for the fans because he'd been there for, well, now almost 2 years now. So he's been a pretty good voice. He's done a great job. He did Bellator. We've heard him do play-by-play in MMA before. He brought a much more credible voice than Adon Verk, who was seemingly way over his head doing the Monday Night Raw play-by-play. So he did a great job. He stewarded the ship in the right direction, and now that we have the new voices for all of the commentary teams, let's see where they go from here. But the shakeup, I don't think it was 100% necessary, but I think if based on what they're going for, if it works, we'll find out. I think that this is a move in the right direction to making sure that they sound like their own distinct brands, as opposed to NXT being the building blocks of the main roster.
Most definitely, most definitely. From there, we go into another piece of news from WWE. LA Knight is back! Yes!
Yeah.
Amen! Suck it, Vince! Oh, man.
Yeah! Oh, man.
Oh, man. Talk about it. Talk about it.
You've heard me since the day that they made the announcement that they were going to bring LA Knight up to the main roster with this Maximum Male Models garbage. It had Vince's stench written all over it and permeating from every pore and sinking in it and swimming in it. It, no matter what side of it you held it up to, how much air you gave it, it still stunk. And I think Triple H, now running creative, pretty much knew that this wasn't going anywhere. So he did a slow reboot to kind of get rid of the talent that was there, to move them away. First of all, Mansoor is an actual talent. To have him shoehorn in this stupid gimmick was absolutely ridiculous. Dio Madden being thrown into this whole thing. They can't find a gimmick for him that seems to work. And to strap him alongside that and have LA Knight just I'm glad they've gotten rid of it.
Don't even begin it. Don't even begin it. We're fine. We're fine.
We're fine. Let it go.
We're great. Let it go. Because now LA Knight is out of the mix. No such thing as Max Dupree. Okay, this is LA Knight. So okay, Eli Drake. Think about it, peeps. Think back to those days. Okay.
Former TNA World Heavyweight Champion.
There you go, peeps.
That's all you needed to know.
So just think about the potential now. Okay, we're fine.
Yes.
We're fine. We're fine. Okay, from there, another thing to go ahead and talk about that happened on SmackDown, ladies and gentlemen. Legado de Fantasma is on SmackDown. And no, they are not alone. Zelina, oh man. Hunter, God bless your soul. Oh man.
Yes.
You know how much we've talked about? Because the fact that Andrade and Zelina were probably one of the best things going for WWE when it was around, and Vince just didn't know how to utilize it, was just pathetic.
Nor did he care, seemingly.
Exactly. But now, okay, listen, we always knew Santos Escobar looked like the second coming of Andrade with the way he was at NXT 2.0 and NXT, of course, even before.
Yes.
Peeps, now he's on the main roster, and now he has Zelina as a sense of, his mic. That's his microphone right there. We're perfectly fine. And we know what Zelina can do on the mic because we've seen what she's done with Andrade prior during, I think, around 2019? So I mean, peeps, this is amazing. This is great. What more can we ask for? What do you think?
I'll give you the one thing. The one thing that we can ask for is what the heck happened to Elektra Lopez? I mean, she just completely disappeared off the face of the earth.
I said the same.
And I don't understand that.
Well, I mean, maybe
they bring her in later. Maybe they have other plans for her. Maybe they want to tighten up her in-ring work before they bring her back up. Who knows?
And
I just think it was just weird to see. I was like, wait a
who
minute,
knows? Maybe when they
where's
do bring her
Electra?
back up, she'll start feuding. I know, peeps. I know, but it's like still you got to think about it in the sense of maybe they want to go ahead and build a feud with Zelina and Electra. Who knows?
Maybe
If they want to tidy up her, if they want to tidy up her ring work, it may just fit right in. Who knows? Who knows? But hey, they got her de Fantasma. They back. I'm loving it. Hey, we perfectly fine with that.
Yes.
From here, we move to the world of All Elite Wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. Jon Moxley has signed a 5-year extension with All Elite Wrestling, which will go ahead and lead in him being a backstage mentor and a help on the end with being sense of a locker room leader. Peeps, this is what they needed. It's not the shot in the arm, but this is what they needed. Because right now, in the sense of where the locker room is going, a lot of them feel as if they want to go ahead and leave. A lot of them don't feel as if they need to be around, especially with what happened at All Out, especially with what's going on backstage with some of the talent. This is what's needed because we know Moxley can be trusted. Of course, even through his promos, even if they were, what they wanted him to say, whatever the case may be with that. The fact of him cutting that promo already showed us that he is the heart and soul of this company right now. He is who needs to go ahead and carry the rest of this company on his back. That way they can somehow find a sense of prospering. What do you think about this extension?
It's perfect in the sense that it finally kills the silly rumors of him going back to WWE. He stated himself many, many times he had no reason to want to go there. Although he said, well, if things were right, maybe, you never know. But let's really be honest, he wasn't going anywhere. The schedule is better for him. He's able to do much more over his character and have the kinds of matches that he wasn't going to be able to have provided for him in WWE. And this is even going to the Vince McMahon regime. And even with the Triple H regime, even though it might have kind of shifted a little bit, I think he felt much more comfortable in AEW being there for the last 3 years. So knowing that he's there, he's a 3-time world champion, and he actually is now looked at as a locker room leader, even though there are people that wonder, oh, is he going to bleed on everybody else in ring? But as far as the locker room goes, they need that quiet solidification that goes with being a leader and a veteran and somebody that's not going anywhere. And then he can impart that into the younger guys that come in that they may sign and then indoctrinate them into the AEW mindset. And hopefully they'll kill a lot of the mean girl spirit stuff that I've been hearing about in the locker room. And then maybe this will help solidify things and calm things down. But at least you know when you go into that locker room, you know that the one person that you know is going to definitely be there is Jon Moxley.
Yes. From there, that is the end of Fast Track, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, if you want to go ahead and keep up with the rest of wrestling news, all you have to do is just, peeps, you can point right down to the ticker. Follow us on IG at Saturday Afternoons _main event and on Twitter at Saturday Main. Guys. For some reason, I love the comments from you guys, but for some reason, what's a hot rod? Guys, please.
Oh boy.
Peeps. I understand we're getting into AEW news, but this was not needed. This is a family channel hot rod. You see what I mean? Really?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, hot rod. All right.
That is crazy.
Right. Oh wow. You see? Moxley's full of sugar, honey, iced tea, and an ass kisser just like Peeps. Wow. Peeps, you're going to take this slander.
Yes. Here's the issue with the hot rod, or whoever wants to go ahead and be in that little space right there. Clout is chased all the time. The question is, will he actually get it or not? That's where I'll leave it at that.
Seems like he's not getting it then, peeps. We'll leave it at that. Why not?
Yes.
Why not? Well, from there, we are going to go ahead and get into the first topic of today's show. And of course, if you are familiar with everything that has been going on in the world of AEW, then you would know that a certain 2 individuals got into a heated backstage argument on Dynamite this past
Again?
Wednesday. How many times, right?
Wow.
Just how many times? Just how many times are we going? Peeps, we go from Kenny and Punk to Ace Steel and the Young Bucks, and we go from Eddie Kingston and Sammy Guevara. Oh, wait. That reminds me. Sammy Guevara is in this one too.
Wow. I'm shocked.
Oh,
a pattern.
Man. Oh,
A pattern.
Right?
A PATTERN pattern. That's something that you don't normally, think about when it comes to these kinds of things.
A pattern. A pattern. Well, peeps, here's what I can tell you. It is most certainly a pattern because from what I know and from what I've heard and from what I've seen, peeps, these two individuals got into it. Andrade and Sammy Guevara. How in the world do you tell me that the year is 2022 and Sammy Guevara is running wild to the extent that he's getting into it with other stars backstage and somehow nothing ever gets done? You know, here's the thing. Funny thing about all of this, when we heard about this, right? It was that Guevara went into the locker room and threw a fit with Andrade.
Well, it looks like my partner had some technical difficulties. We'll try to figure out what's going on with that. What I will do is, while I'm here, I'll go into basically what we saw. Oh, there you're finally back in. There you go.
Peeps, you know something? I think Tony Khan is watching. This is the craziest thing ever because this has never happened to this extent. You see, Vince would go ahead and mess with it for a little bit, but Tony wants to take me off the air. Well, guess what, Tony? Let me tell you a little something. You don't do something like this to the Phenomenal One on Saturday afternoon's main event, okay? This does not happen in any extent when it comes to me. You want a war? In the words of Scott Hall, you got one. All right? But, okay.
Yes.
Peeps, I'm so sorry. If you were saying something, you can go ahead and proceed, or if you want me to finish, whatever you want to do.
You go in ahead because I think it froze up because you were espousing what you were saying.
So with what I was saying, Tony, okay, what I was saying is this. Ain't no way you're going to tell me that Sammy Guevara goes back into the locker room, complains that he's getting hit too hard. Hit too hard. Peeps, are you kidding me? Are you really kidding me? Yes. We're in the year 2022 where wrestling has been around for almost more than a century. And you're telling me right now that you are complaining because you're getting hit too hard?
I guess he shouldn't get in the ring with Walter then, because if that's the case, he would definitely be complaining.
See, now I actually want to see Walter in the ring with Sammy Guevara because I want him to get pulverized. I mean, killed. Peeps, ain't no doubt about it. But for you to go ahead and complain on Andrade that you're getting hit too hard, which in this business, there is things as if, you had to go ahead and be a brawler. And then there's such things as receipts.
Yes.
Of course, we know the infamous world of receipts because we've seen it happen on many different occasions. But the fact of the matter is that this is professional wrestling. Not sports I think he's living out the sports entertainment gimmick a little too much.
Yeah, probably.
This is not fake hitting. This is not the regular slaps. This is pro wrestling. You take the bumps, you take the hits, you take the blood, the sweat, the tears, you put that all in for the viewers, the fans, the ones that tune in the ones that buy your merch, the ones that actually hope for you to go ahead and be a top star in a company. Well, right now, we all think of Sammy Guevara as a coward. We think of Sammy Guevara as one hot rod 316. Okay. Ooh. Yeah, I said it. Now what? Now what? You're going to kill me? You hurt me? What? You're going to go ahead? You're going to go ahead and rise back just to go ahead and, somehow smash me in the head with a coconut? What are you going to do? Nothing. Okay.
Oh, man.
But look. What then happened and what then transpired is that the two of them got into a brawl. And of course, after it being broken up, Tony Khan decides to send Andrade home. While Sammy Guevara gets the main event spot on Dynamite. They're now starting to go ahead and show a sense of favoritism, peeps.
A little bit of preferential treatment, you're thinking?
Yes. Most definitely. Don't you think the same thing?
Here is what I'm looking at. From what I remember reading about, it seems like after the altercation happened, it was apparently told by Tony Khan to either of them, don't throw any fists at each other, don't hit each other, leave it alone. And apparently Andrade kind of pushed the notion, kept this going, because we saw what happened online. The beef that they've been going at each other for the last couple of weeks. I still don't understand the whole premise behind it, but it's neither here nor there. What I think is happening is we have a young, talented guy in Sammy Guevara reading a little too much into his own press, knowing that he has friends and connections in the back with guys that are in the locker room. And he's got a big kind of like mid-card to mid-card main event kind of slot. And knowing that he's got that slot and he has the security of knowing he's really not going anywhere, and he's one of the young guys that are part of this company. And then you start to see that. And then you see somebody like Andrade, who for the most part we've been hearing has been not as happy about being in AEW over the last year, because they're not pushing him. He's not getting the right matches. He's being underutilized and has potentially trying to get himself outed of the company so that he can go back to the WWE. That's an allegation that we don't know of fully yet. To have all of that there and then to have this happen, it only adds to the sense of entitlement that Sammy Guevara has. It also adds to the level of indignation that Andrade is feeling. At the same time, it's also going to add to the fact that all of the goodwill that was brought after the all-out media scrum and all of the things that happened with Moxley and Jericho talking everybody down to be on the same page, all of that goodwill seems to be kind of flittering away. And this is the last thing you need to have happen when they're trying to right the ship going forward. This is not good. This is something that needs to be cleared out. And if you're going to have somebody like Andrade, who is a star, and he's going to be on his way out, among with some of the other guys that are purportedly leaving AEW, this does not help situations like this at all.
Never does. It never does. No. Well, peeps, from there, do you really think that beyond all of this, we can find some type of sense of, discreetment where all of this just doesn't get out? Because, of course, if it's happening backstage and nobody knows about it, it's better. But with the world of social media now, we know that there's never going to be a case where things are not going to go ahead and get out. Things are going to get out. Yes. So how do we really stop this? Because right now it's giving Sammy Guevara's Jordan Poole and Andrade's Draymond Green. This is what it's giving right now. Yeah. Well, you know the whole story with that. So I mean, for sure, it's it's just giving so much tension that AEW most certainly doesn't need right now. So I guess
just juxtapose that picture right there, Andrade and Guevara, which is literally like the Incredible Hulk versus Jack from Jack and the Beanstalk. Literally, they can't contrast each other more physically from just that picture there. Why would you have that and then not make money off of it by saying, you know what, you guys don't like each other, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Let's make a feud out of it.
Exactly.
Let's clean that up. That's what they could have done. That's the problem here. And I've always been of the, for those that know, of the Pat Riley school of keeping things in-house. There is more drama and more excitement going on backstage at AEW than what's going on in ring. And that is not good, period. And I'll leave it at that.
Most definitely, 100%. Well, from there, we hope that actually, you know, Tony can go ahead and figure out what the heck he's doing with this whole thing. Because for me, I just can't buy into it, man. It just sucks. It really does. It really does. Oh, man. But from there, guys, that's the end of the first half of Saturday afternoon's main event. I know, shocking how short of a topic, right? But of course, you can't forget that later tonight is Extreme Rules. So what are we going to be doing? We are going to go ahead and get into our predictions. And then, last but not least, we will get into White Rabbit Democracy. This is going to be great. These politics have been amazing so far, peeps. So, I mean, without further ado, let's go ahead and go right into break for 30 seconds. And when we come back, we're going to go straight into the questions and then our Extreme Rules predictions. So, stay tuned. Do not go anywhere. The second half of Saturday afternoon's main event is coming up next. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the second half of Saturday afternoon's main event. Of course, screw Andrade, screw Sammy Guevara. I think I'm done with that. Let's go ahead and get right into the good stuff. You know something? Here's the thing. I love the questions you guys keep sending in, and these ones have been pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and love this one. Guys, just, you want to go ahead and send in questions? You know what you have to do, right? Yeah, just, there you go. Once again, guys, you want to send in questions? DM us at Saturday afternoons _main event on Instagram. DM us a question. Be featured on the next show. And in the words of JBL, it will be guaranteed. Okay, let's put it that way. Without further ado, let's get it right into the first question, who comes from Master Sean 007. He says, "Greetings once again. Here's another question for the two of you to ponder. What are some of the strangest or downright awful gimmicks that you have ever seen?" You know, I'm going to go ahead and start this off.
Go right on ahead.
You know, it's funny because I don't talk about this one as much. And people will be shocked when they hear this out of my mouth because it's like, I know you're going to be shocked because you wouldn't expect for a millennial like me to go ahead and say this person.
All right.
Do you remember Waylon Mercy?
Oh, yes. I definitely remember that one. Yes, Waylon Mercy. Old
Dagger on the
Spivey gimmick. Oh, yeah.
Dagger in the middle of his forehead.
Yes.
Hawaiian clothing. You know, cult-like structure. And you know what's so funny about that? It's that I didn't really like that, you know, that whole gimmick. But for some reason, I enjoyed it when it was performed by Wyndham Rotunda. That is how crazy it is. Because I guess it's just change of heart. I don't know. Maybe I was just more invested into the business as a younger teen than I was as a little kid, where I just hated some of the stupid gimmicks that they had. Because for me, I was invested into the Boogeyman. I was invested into the Undertaker. I was invested into Papa Shango. But for some reason, Waylon Mercy just seemed too hokey for me. I don't know. And especially with the dagger in the middle of his forehead. You know, it's funny. I remember when 21 Savage, you know, that one rapper actually came out and like, you know, he started rapping. I saw him in a music video once and I saw the dagger in the middle of his forehead and I was like, this person had to be watching Waylon Mercy. He was a fan back in the days. Because I kid you not, no person in their right mind would put a dagger in the middle of their forehead. But I digress.
Yeah, no, there you go. First one of the day.
Exactly.
Yes. Good
But
grief.
yeah, Will and Mercy for me. How about yourself, man?
Oh, there's way too many. I think we would probably be here for another hour just going over bad gimmicks. The one that is to me one of the more annoying and probably infamous throughout the history of professional wrestling, and a lot of people will go ahead and say that they're probably saying it as we're saying right now, is what the WWE/WWF did to one Terrence Taylor and turned him into the Red Rooster. I am from the school that have watched Terry Taylor when he was in the UWF, when he was in Crockett, when he was the NWA national champion, when he won World Television Championship in the UWF. And so all of the things that he did. And then he was he left the company to go to the WWF and is managed by Bobby Heenan. And what does he do? He slicks his hair in a red comb and crows and goes cock-a-doodle-doo. That is without question one of the dumbest gimmicks I have ever seen. And what makes it worse is the fact that of all the people that helped kind of craft this whole Lifetime gimmick, Bruce Pritchard tried to explain this in one of his podcasts and saying, well, the whole purpose behind it was Terry Taylor was always a very cocky person. So it wasn't meant literal to just make him cocky, like a rooster, a cock of the walk, which, by the way, was his finishing move at that point. He called it the cock of the walk. Go figure. I digress. Anyway, that's the second.
Second one.
This is without question one of the most insulting, demeaning, and useless gimmicks that they ever came up with. And they ruined basically partially on Terry Taylor's part, because he said that himself. He was a very cocky, conceited person. And the gimmick was kind of to take off on that gimmick of his, that personality trait of his. But let's really be honest. To walk around the caliber of wrestler, you know what this would have been akin to? And I'm not going to compare Terry Taylor with Ric Flair, but that's almost like what Jim Herd tried to do with Ric Flair and shaving Flair's hair and putting an earring in his ear and calling him Spartacus. That's literally akin to how stupid that is. Like I said, there's a million different gimmicks that were out there. Wild Bill Irwin, who was part of the Long Riders, they gave him a gimmick as the Goon, where he dressed up in a hockey outfit with a goalie mask and a stick and walked to the ring. Things like that irk me when I know what that particular wrestler was before they gave them that gimmick.
Well, peeps, there's still one that you don't actually talk about as much. Do you remember Oz?
Oh, yes. Yes, the Kevin Nash Oz gimmick, which was the gimmick was actually created, ironically, in fairness, by Ted Turner. And the reason why that was done was because Ted Turner with TBS had gotten the rights to the Wizard of Oz and thought it would make sense to turn a gimmick and make that between Ted Turner and Jim Herd and kind of making a manifestation of the Wizard of Oz and putting it on Kevin Nash and dyeing his hair silver and put him in green and having him with Kevin Sullivan, who walked around as a wizard. Welcome to Oz! Welcome to Oz! Oh my God! I'm having flashbacks of that garbage. That was when wrestling was almost the circus that people purported it to be back then. That was that was one of the worst, without question.
Had to be.
Yeah.
Oh man. From there we go to Doctor of Thugonomics. He says, What if at Extreme Rules tonight it is revealed that the phenomenal one is a white rabbit?
Well, you got yourself a travel to go,
Wouldn't I be late to go ahead and enter through Wells Fargo? I mean, truth be told, I'm just saying, wouldn't it be past the time for me to go ahead and have to enter in? I don't know.
Give it a
try. Who knows?
Stay tuned, folks. Find out at 8 p.m. tonight.
Exactly right. Exactly
Live
right.
with the premium live event. Yeah, there you go. Just
I mean, should they just change it back to pay-per-views, or are they just gonna
yes,
keep it?
please. The premium live event thing is not
Just
catching on.
sucks, man. Just sucks. Oh man. Lord of mercy.
Yes.
Last but not least, last question comes from Long Island Isaiah. He says, it's obvious TK has favorites. It's just a matter of time before the rest of them want to get released from their contracts. I like how some of these fans just like, certainly just like, like sound like Peeps Nation in a sense where they like, agree on the same things even when we get to a topic. It's crazy. It is crazy. But he has a point. Peeps. We're going to be looking at a time where everybody is going to want to go ahead and leave AEW. It's there. We see it.
I said this like almost a year ago that this at some point it's all things in wrestling are cyclical, whether it's contracts, whether it's people getting upset, egos, who's running the promotion, what wrestlers want to get from the business while they're in the place that they're in. And of course, over time, if things change, you're going to have that kind of turnover. So we saw over the last couple of years, the rash of cuts and releases and people wanting to get out of their contracts in the WWE. So now that they've left Titan and they came to AEW, they thought the grass was greener on the other side. In a lot of instances, it wasn't. And as CM Punk so gloriously stated over a month ago, the grass isn't greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it. And I think that's kind of where we're at now. If you're in a place that you're not happy, make sure that the environment around you is conducive for it to make you happy, because you may leave and you may find out it's actually worse wherever you go next.
Most definitely. It's just on a sense of staying tuned, guys. I mean, like, we'll just have to see. Without further ado, that's the end of the questions for today's Saturday afternoon's main event. Of course, you still want to go ahead and send in questions for next week. As you say, peeps, you see it too? Yeah, I hope they see it as well. Just on IG at Saturday afternoon's _main event. Send us some question, DM us. It will work, guys. Just, we'll speak on it next episode. Most definitely.
Yes.
So that means we've gotten to the last one of the show. Extreme Rules. Emanating tonight from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at the Wells Fargo Center. Where it's for the first time in more than a decade, Extreme Rules actually looks like Extreme Rules.
Yes.
All the matches are slated to have some type of cool gimmick behind it. All the matches have some type of good background to it. We don't know what to expect. There are going to be brawls, hopefully maybe bloodshed.
Bloodshed? Haberdasheries. Yes. Go figure.
I was expecting a Jinkies, but I think we can run with that one too, peeps.
Yes. We'll leave Jinkies for later.
Jinkies. Jinkies, yeah. Why not? But, guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. So first and foremost, we have one match on the card, which is going to go ahead and seem as if it may be just the first one. Who knows? It is Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey Extreme Rules match for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. If I have to be for real, I guess this is the one time I root for Liv Morgan on this one. They're saying take it to the extreme. We see what Ronda Rousey has been doing, which has been great. We see what Liv has been doing, which has been great. But for some reason, I just feel as if the need to go ahead and come out on top may have to go ahead and come from the hands of Liv. Liv needs this one. She really does need this one. If she doesn't get it, cool. It happens. Ronda will go ahead and go in, win the title, whatever. But in my mind, I just feel that Liv needs to go ahead and win this. Peeps, how about yourself?
I think that it makes sense for Liv if you're trying to continue on where she's going. I just think it doesn't make any sense to not put it on Ronda. I think part of the whole the feud that's been going on is the fact that it's that believability factor that a lot of people are finding it hard to get behind Liv Morgan without this kind of destroying Ronda Rousey's push. I mean, Ronda is coming across as a huge face. Liv, if she's going to win, I kind of have a feeling you might have to turn her at some point.
Very.
And I think that if they're going to go with that particular direction, then Liv Morgan will turn. She'll do something that'll tick the fans off, and she'll hold on to the belt at least for one more pay-per-view, premium live event. Excuse me.
Oh man, keep saying
I
that.
think, yeah, it's it. But I have a feeling that Ronda is going to win somehow. Um, who knows if anyone else is going to try to interject themselves? We know that Shayna Baszler has been thrown in here every so often. As a matter of fact, it was kind of like Shayna Baszler kind of getting into the ear of Ronda, like, you used to be so and so, you used to be this person, and you're not anymore. And that, but like I said, Ronda is being portrayed as a huge face. And I think if they're going to go in this route and continue this route, then Morgan at some point is going to have to turn.
Yes. I mean, there's a chance that we might actually see Liv Morgan have a go ahead and have a heel turn. It seems like it's definite. And I think that if she loses at Extreme Rules, then she's going to go ahead and instantly snap on Ronda. That's like most definite. Like, we can see it happening. Like, there's nothing to go ahead and hold back on from that. Second match, Matt Riddle versus Seth freaking Rollins. Fight pit match with Daniel Cormier as the special guest referee. How did they land that, peeps?
Wow,
How did you land DC?
Yeah, that's a big get. I mean, if we're going into that match and you want to make sure that style of match, because the last time they did it was 2 years ago, and it was Matt Riddle on NXT with Thatcher, in which was one of the more violent matches that NXT has done. Yeah, that makes the most sense to get Daniel Cormier, who we all know in the eyes of MMA is a Hall of Famer, to get him as a referee in a MMA style match, and they potentially could, try to kill each other. I think that this works, and I think Riddle is going to come out of this one. I think that just because of the way the match is, even though we know that Seth is probably going to get another main event style push, I don't think him losing this match would hurt him. So I think this goes to Riddle.
Most definitely. I can go ahead and agree with that myself. Riddle's going to go ahead and take the dub. I mean, it's a fight pit match. Of course, we know that this is like, his style. This is what he started out in before going ahead and making the jump to WWE. Riddle goes ahead and takes the W by far. Yeah. Strap match next up. Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross. Finally, we get to see Karrion Kross in a barbaric style match. Not barbaric to the terms of his attire before getting released by Vince. We are talking barbaric in the sense of his fighting style, especially going up against Drew McIntyre.
Yes.
Pete, we have to go ahead and start this one out with a bang. And if I'm going to be thorough with you, I say Karrion Kross takes the W here.
Oh, yeah. That's the only way that I'm going. That's the only way that I'm going. I don't see any other result happening. First of all, Kross has been back in the company now, but almost 2 months, a little over a month and a half, been back in the company now. Drew has established his spot on SmackDown. We know that he kind of gains nothing by beating Kross, and actually, if he beats Kross, it would kind of hurt Kross early on. Yeah. Kross needs this win more than Drew does, and it also kind of needs to establish Kross as he can take a beating in a violent, tough styled match, like a strap match. And if you saw SmackDown yesterday and you saw the kind of violence you would expect in a match like this, a match like that will further elevate Karrion Kross to where they want to push him. So I think that the only way to go with this is Karrion Kross.
Yes, I don't blame you one bit. Fourth match, ladder match for the WWE Raw Women's Championship. It will be the champion, Bianca Belair, with Alexa Bliss and Asuka in her corner, going up against Bayley with Damage Control in her corner. Peeps, we're getting a ladder match for the Raw Women's title. A ladder match. A ladder match.
A women's ladder match for the championship. Yes.
This is beautiful.
Yes.
I can't explain it, man.
Yes.
Oh, so. All right, enough of that. But listen, when it comes to ladder matches, we know how amazing they can get in some stances. Of course, not the overplayed ones that be happening at Money in the Bank where, Vince's guy goes over in the most pristine, unique way. Brock Lesnar going ahead and getting the Money in the Bank when Ali easily could have retrieved the briefcase within that span of time. Yeah. I digress.
Let's hope. Yeah, I'll jot that one down, but let's hope Brock doesn't interfere in this match either.
Brock Lesnar, Raw Women's Champion.
Oh,
imagine. Ah, shoot. But no, if I'm going down the wire with this one, Bayley.
Yeah.
Wow, Peeps, you actually think Bayley's gonna get this one too, huh?
I think so, because what I think that they're doing is you're gonna establish something with Bianca, and although Bayley doesn't have a championship, but the other two with Damage Control, they do have the belts. I think at some point, all three of them have to have the belts. And I think because of the stakes of this match, I think it makes sense. The only way that it doesn't happen is if you know that they're going to go to Crown Jewel and they're going to have a match there, and they want to have the title change in Riyadh. That's the only other way that it goes. But I think if they're trying to kind of finally get this whole Damage Control, have all the belts kind of thing going, then it makes perfect sense to have Bayley win the belt. But I would not be shocked if Bianca wins tonight, but I think Bayley is going to get that championship tonight. That's just me.
Peeps, hey, whatever it comes down to, I really do think Bayley's getting this. They're high chance it's going to happen.
Yes.
It's going to happen. Next match. I Quit. Edge versus Balor. For what? I don't know where to go ahead and turn with this one. I've loved the feud. I've loved the build up. But in the sense of this match, it can go either way. Because truth be told, right now, both of them kind of need this win. Finn in the sense that, okay, Judgment Day is now stronger with Dominic Mysterio, but they still have to prove themselves. The only way to prove themselves by taking a W over the man that was pretty much their incarnation. The man that started it all, the man that brought them all together. And with Edge, Edge has pretty much shown that he's still perfectly fine. Edge has shown himself to go ahead and prove that he is a perfect, face within Raw, and that he still has every single fan behind him, and that he's capable of going ahead and pulling off a win. But in this sense, he needs this one because it's not tag team. It's not, anything around the order of, really, really extreme where he pushes it to the level. Unlike many of the other matches that he used to have in the past that can show that ultimate opportunist, that barbaric sense. Don't get me wrong. This version of Edge is amazing, but this isn't the ultimate opportunist, the one that would go ahead and scratch and claw to get what he wants. So he feels a little bit more vulnerable. So now the two of them really need this win. But if I'm going to go the safe route and put this up the right way, I'm going to say Finn Balor. The Judgment
along the way with me, because it makes the most sense. Yeah, I see where you're headed.
Because the Judgment Day just need that spark plug. They just need that little spark to incite what they need as a team. We've seen many other teams go down the route of having to go ahead and get one good win that can at least solidify themselves as a good regular heel faction in the company. and
Yes.
they've all fallen aside. We've had the Nexus. We've had what's its face? You see, this is the thing. Peeps, can you at least remind me what team? Oh, Retribution. I don't even think they even got far.
No,
That's what it
no.
was.
They
Exactly.
were an idea that did not work well. What Judgment Day needs is continuous continuity, but they also need to have, they're in search of a win that solidifies their importance. And something that you don't see too often is when you have a faction that is trying to establish what they want to show, you have to make sure that although you're going to lose matches here or there, a faction is really only good as the wins that they put up. And if they're losing matches all the time, then they become obsolescent. You have to make sure that you continue on a road there. And especially if Finn is really the leader of this group, he has to get that big win, and not just on TV, but at a major PLE. I'll say it that way. I'll shorten it for you. A PLE. The kids are saying it. Yeah. It's something that the Judgment Day needs more so. Edge has a million of these kinds of moments. Edge can look great in the match. He can look great in putting Finn over. But if Finn and the Judgment Day are long term, then the long term belt notch win has to be Finn over Edge, especially since they're building Dominic and they're building Rhea Ripley and then they're building with Damian Priest as they go forward. Because you think the next time this feud kind of advanced, the next thing they're going to start looking for is when are we going to start putting belts on Judgment Day?
Yep.
And they're going to need to have the leader of Judgment Day have a statement win. And the statement win would be against Finn Balor, would be Finn Balor beating Edge in Philly, where you know Edge is huge, and having it right there. I think that makes perfect sense.
No, most definitely does. It most definitely does. Last match, 6-man tag team, good old fashioned Donnybrook match. The Brawling Brutes versus Imperium. I'm gonna go ahead and go along the lines to go ahead and say Imperium. I always loved Imperium. You know,
yes,
Ludwig Kaiser, Giovanni Vinci, and of course Walter. Because I'm not gonna go ahead and say Gunther Stark. Okay,
exactly. I
that.
still cannot believe that they.
Gunther.
I digress. There's your fourth. There's your fourth. There's your fourth.
Oh man.
I still can't believe that they trademarked this name and not realize what the name is. Keep calm. I don't want to get too out of it here, but yeah.
Just amazing. Just amazing.
Yes, but these are the kinds of things that they've been building.
Yeah.
And that match, that Intercontinental Championship match that was on SmackDown last night was absolutely phenomenal. See what I did there? That was a really good match. It also goes to show you that Sheamus is still at the top of his game.
Oh, yes. Sheamus is still up there. That's definite. That is definite. But I mean, still, yes. I can't see Imperium not going ahead and getting a win here. It has to go down that way. It just has to.
Yes.
But with that being said, that's the end of the predictions. But there's still one more thing we haven't talked about. You see, I gotta go ahead and stretch out real quick because things are about to go ahead and get good, ladies and gentlemen. Or, as Peeps would say, things are going to get phenomenal.
There you go.
Let's take a look at something. All right, guys, let's put it this way. So the last 2 QR codes for this week came in, right? And of course, the phenomenal one wouldn't be the phenomenal one without having to go ahead and decipher them. So here's what happened, right? I was sitting down and watching Raw for a quick second, and then the QR code came up. Now, for me, I was, more in tune with the fact that, I was trying to go ahead and figure out everything from a good stance, but I just couldn't get my thought process around it. So I enter in the QR code. This comes up, right? And of course, you can tell that this is Samson and Delilah. Guys, when this QR code came up, it came up over the face of Alexa Bliss, I believe. Samson and Delilah. If anybody knows the story of Samson and Delilah, you would know that Samson was betrayed by this woman Delilah, who then went ahead and cut off his hair, which was the process of source of all his power. Who was the one person Alexa Bliss betrayed? If you think back to WrestleMania 37. Okay, yes, mostly of course, Bray. But without that, there was something about this picture, because this picture would actually go ahead and resume to changing up the sides, because both of them were divided in half. So if both sides of the picture were divided, you would see a number on one side and a number on the other, which would take you to this next link on WWE.com. This link would be this right here. So this is Samson destroying the Temple of Philistine. Now, these numbers popped up at the bottom, which you can see is marked 690-120-9258-022. Now, guys, one thing that I can tell you about this whole thing, right, is that we got this, and for some reason, I was at a sense where I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Because you see here, it started with these sense of hieroglyphics. And I was sitting there for a fat minute trying to figure out where this came from, because this looks so familiar. So I started thinking, and then I came up with it. But of course, you had to keep tapping on the screen just to get the rest of the message. And of course, I found the rest of the message. This is what the rest of the message was. And I sat there and I was like, the hieroglyphics look so completely like similar to something. Because, it's just, like it's right there. And I was like, okay, because if I'm not mistaken, this is similar to E. And when I thought back to E, I was like, wait, is this Predator hieroglyphics? I was like, this has to be Alien versus Predator. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh snap, it is, because this is B, this is E, this is F. I was like, oh snap, this is the whole message. So I'm getting psyched. And I go ahead and I decipher the whole message. When I deciphered the whole message, guys, keep in mind, this is all at work, okay? I'm doing all of this at work. I came up with this. So, of course, some of the words were pretty much not this, because you had to go ahead and make it make sense. So this is what it actually said. Before me, things credited were none. And of course, I started deciphering the rest of it, which I didn't finish. But I got to the rest of it after, and I was like, okay, wait. Before me, things created were none, save things eternal, and eternal I endure. Guys, when I looked at that, right, I typed it in. It came from Dante's Inferno. And I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, oh, snap. Okay, Dante's Inferno more. And I'm looking at it as like, oh, supremest wisdom and primeval love. Before me, things created were none, save things eternal, and eternal I shall endure. All hope abandoned, yea, who enter here. And of course, if you remember, through me, you pass into the city of woe, which was in a couple of weeks back in those QR codes. But abandon all hope, ye all will exit here. Of course, you can remember this off of the Firefly Funhouse. But guys, here's where we don't really fully understand the whole thing. Remember how I said, okay, this right here, right? The whole numbers right here. These numbers will get crazier because, peeps, here's how this works, okay? So the first thing that I did was I looked into that, because there was a code at the top that was in a bunch of like regular numbers. And I sat there for a quick second and I was trying to go ahead and decipher it. And I couldn't really decipher it. So what did I do? I went ahead and put it into a binary code, collector, which would go ahead and then decipher the message.
This is the level of detective work, folks. Keep that in mind.
Guys, stop it. And And what I got was this. Of course, if you look at the bottom, it says Gacy. I'm thinking to myself, is this John Dwayne Gacy? I mean, we got Jeffrey Dahmer this whole month. Is he trying to go ahead and talk about another serial killer? Like, what are we trying to go ahead and figure out here? Maybe something about Joe Gacy. I thought it was actually going to pertain to NXT, where the next QR code would pop up on NXT, which it didn't. But somehow Gacy was the talk of the town. So who knows? Maybe Gacy's a part of this presumed faction. But that's not the craziest part. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, upon that little code that you saw, like, you know, on the picture of the Philistine temple with Samson destroying it, when I typed that in, it took me to this. And when I say this, I'm so shocked about it because I'm just sitting there like, what the heck? White rabbit milk. White rabbit. What this got to do with anything?
Let's hope they're not milking white rabbits and giving people their milk.
Not even peeps. Not even peeps. You want to know what happens?
Yes.
So
I'm intrigued.
Peeps. I started searching more. I'm like, okay, what does this have to do with anything? There's nothing to go ahead and speak upon this. So, one thing that I did know for sure was that there was this too. If you can remember this, then you know there's not much I can totally go ahead and tell you, because this came up a little before that time. And when it did come up, we sat there like, what the heck is this? And I showed you this for a quick second, and it was like just this whole regular thing. Now, what I found out is that there's a magic eye in this picture. And when I clicked on, like, you know, the info behind it and all the codes and stuff, there was this code that popped up. And the code exactly, okay? I'm going to keep it $1.50 with you peeps. This is what the code was. And if I go ahead and, you know, get this, it was, there we go, MTA4MJL. I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, what the heck is this? So what did I do? I typed it into Google. It once again brought up white rabbit milk. Why? Because it was the SKU number. I'm sitting there like, okay, what the heck? But then I remembered. SKUs, especially in the sense of a lot of numbers and letters, sometimes they can lead to a certain type of code that can be deciphered through numbers. That sense is a base 64 code. Somehow I learned this in math about 2 years back with my one weird teacher that I never really paid attention. But somehow decoding was something that I really enjoyed. So what did I do? I went into a base 64, you know, decoder. And what I'm about to go ahead and do is I'm about to show you exactly what I did. I typed the code in. Peeps, do you see what comes up at the bottom?
Yes.
Read that for me.
Let me just go ahead and clear that in a little bit. Coming out a little bit blurry on my screen.
I hear you. If you can get it, it's cool. If you can't, just, you know, let me know.
You go on ahead because I'm getting a little blurriness on my screen.
So the code reads 10/8/22.
Yes.
Surprisingly, it's today's date, peeps.
Yes.
What's going on today? Huh? Extreme Rules?
Some sort of premium live event.
Yeah, you know, how great is that? Yeah. How great is that? But peeps, that's not even the craziest part.
Go right on ahead. There's much more.
There's more. But wait, there's more. Peeps. You remember how I told you about the picture of Samson and Delilah?
Yes.
The code on top was coordinates. I looked at it for a quick second, but then I noticed it was 399, 012 north, 751, 720 west. And I sat there and I was like, wait, what the heck? Wait, they're coordinates. Okay, cool. So how can I go ahead and, okay, let me go ahead and go to like a coordinate, you know, a coordinate website that can go ahead and map it out for me. Which is exactly what I went ahead and I did, peeps. And once again, I'm going to show you guys what I came up with. So, of course, I didn't go ahead and click get addressed yet. And this is where I'm currently located. If any of you want to go ahead and try to beat me up, because I'm the biggest heel in sports entertainment podcast today. But when you click on get addressed, Old Bethlehem Road, Apples-Backville, Hayok Township, Pennsylvania. Guys, says a lot, right? It really does says a lot. Pennsylvania. Isn't that kind of weird? Isn't that kind of weird? Isn't that kind of weird?
Yes.
Peeps. That's the thing. That's the thing that they never like telling you. Because you see, as much as I can sit here and tell you that there is so much more to go into it, there really isn't. Because the more that you can sit there and figure out the coordinates, peeps, Pennsylvania. Yes. Why Pennsylvania? Why Pennsylvania of all places? Why Pennsylvania of all places?
Maybe it has something to do with a particular event happening on said date, which happens to be tonight?
Seems like it, right?
Yes.
Should be tonight.
Yes.
A lot of times it really should be tonight. I don't blame you. Yeah, but peeps. But why? Why all of this? When they could have just, the regular type of vignettes. Why so creative? Why so creative?
You know why? I'll give you the perfect reason why. The reason why is because of what we're doing right now. We've given attention, not just attention to the fact that it's here. You've gotten engagement from the fans. We've got detective sleuths like you. And we've got fans that are out there that are hanging on every word you just stated. And then you have guys like me who are wondering where is the rest of the creative juices coming from. And we know why now, because of this. And also didn't hurt that if you looked at SmackDown last night, that kind of almost gave credence to all of the detective work you just did, especially at the end of the show.
Now, peeps, since you know what happened at the end of the show, can you care to tell the audience? Because, they would love to hear it.
Yes. There was an 8-bit graphic of a white rabbit running through a forest, jumping onto, ironically with chip tunes and everything, a purple X. Purple X kind of looks like the one that's shown on the screen for the Extreme Rules Premium Live event, which then jumped into the hole, went down, landed, and then showed a date that was in digital, almost like a digital readout with a particular date, which happened to be today's date, which blinked in purple, then blue, then red, then purple, then blue, then red. There you go. You just can't make it any more obvious. I think it's like, we've done all of the creative stuff for you. Now, the hell with it. Here's what it is, without actually telling you.
Yeah, you're not wrong, peeps. You're not wrong. But the thing with this is what I'm trying to tell you, because it gets deeper than that. It really does get deeper than that. And I don't understand why it really does, because we all know who it is now. It's not rocket science. Ladies and gentlemen, we know it's Bray Wyatt. We know it's Wyatt. And we're glad it's Wyatt. But the question is now, is he alone? Because, for me, listen, we've had to decipher so much, just so much. For what? Because, we could have already figured it out from the moment they started playing White Rabbit in the arenas. Yes. That it was Bray. It wasn't hard. It really wasn't hard. But the sense of us knowing that we had to go ahead and go through all of that just to know that Bray Wyatt was coming back. Is Corbin with him? Is Gacy with him? Is it Alistair? Like, who else can it possibly be? But, here's the thing. The last QR code on SmackDown last night brought us to this message. Take a listen.
Let me in, 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 in, let me 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 in.
What more can I do, peeps? I mean, man,
Yes.
it's self-evident. It is
Yes.
Bray. It is Bray. So now, what can we possibly do? Who else? Who else? Who else? You know, but I mean, peeps, I guess that all comes down to tonight.
Yes.
So are you with me on this one?
Oh, yes, definitely. And we've gone down this rabbit hole now. I think we finally almost got to the destination. So it's just a matter of tuning in tonight and finding out who arrived at this rabbit hole's destination with or without him.
And that's just what it comes down to. If it's just him, or if many other people are with him. So
yes,
it's okay. We'll figure it out when it comes down to it.
Yes.
But ladies and gentlemen, that marks the end to today's episode of Saturday Afternoon's main event. We thank you for going ahead and going down that rabbit hole with us.
Yes.
For going ahead and taking consideration to listen to us today. And we hope that most definitely after everything happens tonight, that next week we start on a new clean slate with 3 more episodes left until the season finale of Saturday Afternoon's main event, season 4. And after that, we will go on a 2-week hiatus and then jump straight into season 5. But thank you guys for all the support, because without you guys, we really are nothing. It's with you that makes us who we really are, and that is great fans of this wonderful sport called professional wrestling. So with that being said, on today's episode of Saturday Afternoon's main event, I, the phenomenal one,
and I, the peeps Nate, we came,
we saw,
and in the words of Paul Heyman, we conquered.
We conquered, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy Extreme Rules tonight. Enjoy the rest of your week, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back here next week. It is a phenomenal one. And Mr. Peeps Nate signing off. Thank you. Peace. Love. Farewell.